Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Myler's Custom. I'm happy to show you a doll inspired by a manga that is really important to me, Cardcaptor Sakura. Since I was a child, I've always been a fan of that anime and I would never miss an episode. If you don't know it yet, I totally recommend that anime for you, or even the manga. You will love it. Thanks to Riff Gwen the Troll, I'm super excited to show you my first ever collaboration. The theme was the light. That theme made me immediately think of the light card from Cardcaptor Sakura. So, if you're ready, let me show you the process. Because all the cards have white base skin, I choose Catherine Deneuve. She was in a good condition, but her hair was damaged. I didn't need them, so I cut them off with a small scissor. Now they should be short enough to remove them. When I was done, I made a little cut on the back of her head to remove all the hairs and glue stuck inside. For that, I used a screwdriver to scratch gently the inside of her head. Now that she's bald, it's time to remove her makeup. I use some Q-tips and cotton pads and 100% pure acetone. And now she's all clean. That's where the struggle begins for me. I wasn't so sure if I had to remove her cat ears. They were so cute, but I didn't need them. I will use them for another project, so don't worry about it. And it's time for the tail. Now it's time to sand her a little bit with a nail buffer, just to, remove the excess of plastic on her legs and arms. So for the rear now, you can use a little pet brush like this, and you obviously need yarn. For the reroute, I choose a white acrylic yarn, which was such a pleasure to work with. If you want, you can use a cat brush to untangle every strand, but for me, that technique worked so much better. Untangle the tip, and then hold one string, and let's slide the rest. When I was finished and had enough hair, I started the reroute. For that, you need a rerouting tool, your doll, and the hair that you picked. Because I don't have a real rerouting tool, I used a pen holder, where I forced a needle that is cut in diagonal. Now take a strand, put it on your rerouting tool, and then poke the doll head. can do it like 100,000 times. I didn't bother to fill the holes on her head because I know that the yarn is gonna be super thick. Now that I finished the reroute, let's get to our clothes. So you need your pattern, some fabric scissors, and let's cut. I chose a white satiny type of fabric, the light current of a long flowy dress, so I used this pattern from D.G. Requiem that is called the mermaid dress. I modified it a bit later, but I will show you the process so maybe it can help you. Because my fabric wasn't that stretchy, I didn't need these parts on the right. Also, be careful that your pattern is in a good scale. Mine is good, so let's cut. I removed this bit because I don't need a color on the dress. I made a little mark if one day I need a color on the dress. Now that we have all of our parts, let's cut our fabric. The front part and also the skirt, they need to be cut on fold. For that, I fold my fabric then and place the pattern on top of it. Don't you think that that little pumpkin needle holder is so cute? Now let's pin the pattern on the fabric. Be careful because it's super slippery and you don't want to have any mistakes after that. I didn't need this part too, so I will get around it after. Let's pin the front part too. Now we can cut. Cut two parts mirrored for the back. Now let's check if everything fits. Everything is okay, so I think we can sew now. I sewed the sides and realized that my dress needed to be in one part, not sewed at the knees. That's why I modified the pattern. I extended the front piece and the back, so I didn't need a skirt part anymore. Cut it. put the front piece and back piece good sides together and let's sew. So the back of the dress and made a fit check to be sure it was good on her. I'm really pleased with the result. Came out really good. Now that I have my basic shape, let's get the beauty part. She has a large opening at the front of the dress, so I mark where I want to cut with a pencil. Please don't do it with a dark pencil on a slippery fabric. The blue started to go everywhere at the end, and it was a real nightmare. To have a break with the sewing process, I get back to her face up. I use watercolor pencils at first and some small brushes for powdery products. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I use eyeshadows on my dolls. It's so much cheaper and I never had any problem with it. Let's make a burrito out of her, and after a coat of Mr. Super Clear, let's start with the brows. I use my little brush to start and blush where I want the brows, and then a pencil to doing it even more precisely. I decided to make them grey to see them a bit on her white skin. She has black lips in the manga and love the idea, so black lips we go. You cannot really see the colors of her eyes, and because I choose to go with the manga design instead of the anime, I decided that she would have gold eyes to match the sun on her chest. I decided to let a little gap for her teeth to make a more mysterious kind of smile. I didn't know what color to use for her eyelashes, but because I picked gray eyebrows, I did the same for them. I struggled to build colors on her with my pencil this time. I think because it was raining during her face up, the MSC didn't want to cooperate. After a new coat of MSC again, I tried to build the colors even more. matter how hard I tried, nothing was working. The colors won't stick, so let's use paint instead. I use some gold paint and mix with a bit of brown to add a bit more shadow. Let's use some black on her lips and pupils too. And voila! The face up is done, so let's put some glass to make it pop. Unwrap the burrito and let's go back to more crafting. At first, I was thinking that I would use some foam from her color, but it was such a pain that I changed my mind later for some glue. Now, let's cut the front piece and glue it in place because I don't think I would take it off her. Now that we glued the front, we have to think of the back piece. I made a little pattern on paper and then cut it into foam. It was the easiest and lightweight material that I can use on her. So I take the sizing and then trim it to thin the edges. Now that the back is done, we have to do the sun on our chest. I decided to go and make it 3D. For that, I used hot glue to make small shapes and round ones. Using gold paints, I painted every little shapes that I made. Checking which size is the best one for her. And then glue it on her. When glued, let's paint it again to add some extra details. And voila! The sun is all painted. Now that the sun is made, we obviously have to do the crown. After thinking about it a bit, I think that foam would be the easiest way to go, lightweight too. So I get a little pattern on paper and then cut it on foam and glue it together. Glue made for fabrics and some paint. I made the design of her chest piece and on her sleeves. And here she is. I put some snaps on the back of the dress, pin the sleeves to the back part, and paint all those designs in white. Untie her hair, try on the freshly painted crown, and now let's see the result. I'm really happy how she turned out, even if she was a struggle to work with, because it was a lot of new things for me. I love this doll, even if I made some mistake. I think she really have that mysterious but still really warm vibe with her. I really love it. Here is all the beautiful dolls that were made for this collaboration. Thanks again, Reef, to inviting me. It was also hard for me to finish the doll for one reason. One that made me do the voiceover instead of using a digital voice. I lost my cat during the process of making this doll. Her name was Leah, or Leah in French, and she was by my side for 14 years. I loved her so much, and I wanted to do a little homage for my lovely kitty because I love her so much and forever. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you liked it. And I hope to come back and do another video quicker this time. Have a nice day and stay healthy in this rude period. Thank you again. Have a nice day.